The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and a very, very warm welcome to all ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chai with Vijay Jogia. I'm Vijay Jogia, and I'm logging you in now into the program. Welcome. We are now live on Facebook and on YouTube. Let me just say the purpose of this show is to invite professionals from various fields, various achievers to come and talk to us about the current affairs in the areas of their knowledge and their expertise. Our guests are from all over the world, India, UK, here, Fiji, New Zealand, and so on. And the type of subjects we cover, they range from A to Z. So, for instance, we will cover Bollywood, law, immigration, charity, sports, health, etc., etc. Furthermore, this program is to provide information. Here there is no money exchanged, nor there is any financial gain by anyone. There is no discrimination or partiality or favorism towards any person or any company. This program is for your entertainment, right? So all that's cleared. So without further ado, I'm really, really excited and very delighted to introduce you our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is a talented doctor, in fact, a professor and he works at the Sydney West Beach Hospital. Graduated MBBS in Fiji, migrated to Australia and took USA and Australian fellowship exams for years to specialize in diagnostic, oncology, surgical, and cytopathology. This is really remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Dr. Raghwa Sharma to the show. Dr. Saab, thank you so much and very, very warm welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vijay, and thank you for inviting me tonight, and thank you saying hello to the audience as well.
Yeah,
it's very nice to be on the show. Thank you.
Before you go, Dr. Saab, in a simple terms, you are the specialist doctor who diagnoses cancer, and you find different or appropriate options for its treatments. That is your in a simple English. Am I right?
Yes, Vijay. Yeah. So I guess I did MBBS, which is a general doctor training for 6 years. Then I worked in different areas of medicine, including surgery, obstetrics, and gynae general practice. And following that, then I trained to become a specialist at Royal North Shore Hospital in Sydney into an area called being a general pathologist, but sub-specialized into what's called diagnostic oncology. Basically, what it deals with is looking after patients who have different types of cancers, making the diagnosis, and doing some serious workup into how we can actually treat different types of cancer. So most of my work on a daily basis goes into working up different types of cancers and helping other doctors as well as patients get proper treatment.
Right. So just before we go into details with the cancer or any other form of disease, if you call them, uh, let's talk about yourself. Just go back a few years from Fiji, then you migrated to Australia, then all these studies. How has the journey been so far? Any
Yeah,
obstacles?
I guess it is truly a journey of life. I mean, we just yesterday was 14th of May, so it's a bit sentimental for people like us who were immigrators or whose parents actually migrated from India, or not really migrated, but tricked into actually moving to other countries like Fiji. So yeah, it's been a journey through a village setting where I grew up, and going to become a doctor in Fiji, and then trying to move on in life and specialize further in medicine and super specialize. So it's been a long journey, and as you and most of the people would know, there's lots of complexities of life that you pass through your journey, in your professional sense. Otherwise, your whole life becomes disturbed because you are migrating from one country to another. Your friends, your families, you get actually distant from other people, and obviously different cultures. Initially, I went to US, so there was a different culture to do the US exams. And then Australia has its own culture. But what I have to say is life is meant to be a test at every different level that we pass through. So different phases give you different opportunities and challenges that you rise up to, and it actually signifies one of those things from our Girimitya parents, that they went through the hardships, and we shall keep doing that, and we shall keep working on those ethics that they had. And success always lies if you put the effort in. Lazy people, I think, complain a lot. If you really into working hard, you can make any opportunity or a situation be productive. So the journey has its ups and downs, but most of it's been quite smooth, and it's been quite a experience where I'm happy to be talking with you today and share some of my learnings over the years with our people as well. And I try to do that anywhere in a small sort of formats, by meeting people or attending community sessions and things. I guess this is a bigger audience. Hopefully, not many other people who I don't know even. I can actually help them by discussing issues, and especially health related uh, topics where I could be of help to people.
Yeah, I have heard a lot about you and your involvement with the community and all the help that you are giving the community, which is tremendously appreciated all over the world. Was there anybody in the family? Was there anybody in the family who wanted you to become a doctor, or it was just you who want to be a?
Yeah, I think if I didn't become a doctor, I would have been a farmer. So I was quite binary kind of person. I think one thing or otherwise the other. There are not many other options with me. That's how I grew up in my thought process. So very early in life, as soon as I started doing biology in high school, I had my mind fixed on becoming a doctor, and that was very early. Say what's called year 8, 9, year 9. Basically, at year 9, I was already in that thought process that I will become a doctor. And, you know, lots of good things have happened. Lots of people have helped me on the way. Many teachers, my mentors, many people I have to thank who have been part of my life um, in terms of development and achieving what I've achieved.
Yeah, and I am also glad that you have become doctor because you have also helped a lot of people I know, and you're continuing to do that. Let's move away towards today and the COVID issue that we are facing right now. What do you think will be the impact if we lift the lockdown, like as it's happening now? What do you think is going to be the impact on, on the whole country?
Yeah, I think the primary purpose of lockdown was to create a situation where the health professionals, the health providers, and the hospitals were able to manage influx of patients who would become sick, who would become seriously sick with the COVID virus. And we saw that what happened in China, then in Italy, followed by Spain. And what's US going through now is when you don't act fast, and especially in the beginning, then it becomes very difficult to control because no health system in the world has that level of intensive care service provision where hordes or number of patients who get sick one time would be looked after, and that was the issue with this virus, particular virus. It's very infectious, and especially older patients. And as the disease has actually progressed over last 3 months, it's actually been affecting younger patients as well. But the people who get sick really get very seriously sick, where they require support in terms of their lung function. So you need a intensive care unit-based care, which say Westmead Hospital has been the center for New South Wales. But I knew, and most health professionals, definitely know that it's a limited capacity where you can admit so many patients only for that kind of serious illness. So the first phase of the tackling of this virus has been very good, actually. The government ministries, the health bodies have actually done a remarkable job because we were a little bit slow into acting, but once the whole machinery got rolling, people did listen. The whole police and other authorities who were vested with the power to actually make sure people listen to what were the rules and regulations, they came on board. And at the moment, we are doing very well, and that's why from tonight there is some relaxation of those regulations that were put in place, and people are allowed to actually meet other people. What we as a community should do is, the government has done its part and it will continue doing it. Health professionals are there, hospital systems have been upgraded, and their capacity to actually look after these kind of patients. But in this period, what we have learned as a community is that there is a huge responsibility individually for everyone to make sure they take responsibility of their behavior, which is social isolation doesn't go away. You need to actually continue maintaining at least 1.5-meter distance when you are going to restaurant, for example, or a pub, or you go to a beach. Please keep doing that, because that is your now individual responsibility. And as health professionals, we think that over the last few months, people have learned that is one of the things that has helped plateau the curve, so to say, where we are at the moment. And second thing is to make sure maintaining personal hygiene. One of the most important things that has actually helped flatten the curve is personal hygiene. So if you maintain the social distance, the virus is less likely to be spread. Secondly, if you are going to wash your hands properly, which is 20 seconds of thorough washing of your fingers, your outside, inside your hand, with a soap-based or an alcohol-based detergent, you are going to clean your hand. And if you happen to touch your nose or ears or something, then you in case you got the virus, you won't be able to transmit it to yourself. So two things: maintaining social distance. Secondly, maintaining very good personal hand hygiene remains the number, one thing, or number one and two things to keep this virus at bay. And the danger is because we are now opening up, things are being relaxed, and it needs to be, because a country needs to have proper economy. It needs to be able to, survive as well. So you have to balance both sides of what needs to be done, and at the same time we don't bankrupt the country. So government is in a difficult situation. So they need to get work being done, the economy start rolling. So here on, my request to everyone is, whoever is listening, please don't think that the virus is gone. The virus is very much here. It's still in the community, and only today you've heard that in Melbourne, McDonald's is become the source of actually spread of this virus. Two of the McDonald's, fast food outlets have got the virus. Like the week prior was the meat abattoir place. So different places, viruses are still there because it's gone into the community. So we need to take personal responsibility to make sure we keep maintaining the social distancing, and secondly, personal hygiene in what you are doing.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a fantastic point. Besides the COVID-19, what are other health issues and health risks that people face today, especially the migrant community?
Yeah, this is something very, very close to me. I'm quite passionate about it. Being a migrant myself, I involve myself a lot with the community. And because I'm directly involved with quite serious level of medical care, which is cancer, um, what I've noticed is, and this is actually shown by different studies as well. Whenever a person migrates to another country, for example, in this situation where most people might be from Fiji or India listening to us, when you move to Australia or US or Canada or any other of the Western countries, your risk of acquiring diseases which are prevalent or which are actually occurring in these countries becomes almost same very rapidly within few years time, as soon as you start residing in this new country. So initially you might think that because I grew up in another country, I'm not at risk of certain types of diseases when you move to another country, but that is not actually that is not what happens. And I'm talking about mainly diseases like diabetes, high heart disease, ischemic heart disease, meaning heart disease or stroke, and yeah, and cancer. So most of our people have knowledge of diabetes, they have knowledge of high blood pressure, they have had families who have had heart attacks, they would know people who have had stroke. So these way kind of conditions we were getting exposed to, say around early to late 1980s, and it sort of peaked in 90s, and now it's quite prevalent in most of the migrant communities. The families have one or either of these kind of diseases, being diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, or stroke. What people didn't know was that cancer was going to happen. And because I'm directly involved with this, unfortunate disease, it's quite common now to see people of our background developing different types of cancer, be it breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, or your colon cancer, in the large bowel cancer. So we need to probably be aware that the risk factors that we are exposed to in this country is actually making us at risk of developing different types of more serious diseases, which are different types of cancers. So just be mindful that we are not immune, or we are not protected because we didn't have it when we left our countries, because the cancer prevalence there was very, very low. But if you go back now, say to Fiji or Pacific Islands or India, as the countries become more industrialized, every country actually starts developing this kind of serious diseases. So sometimes I describe it as like diabetes, hypertension, stroke, and other things are sort of like a prelude to a more serious disease like cancer, because the risk factors are similar. They You are going to develop these kind of diseases because of your lifestyle that you are leading. So cancer is one of those diseases which is actually further or more worse form of a disease condition that arises because of the lifestyle changes that the community is going through. And these are more so in these kind of countries like Australia or developed countries, because the level of what's called stress is very high, because the level of requirement to perform in this country is much, much more, while you might be more relaxed, say in Fiji or India or South Africa or other places, because you get a bit more time to chat around with your friends. The managers are not so tight over looking over your shoulder all the moment. You have a little bit more break than half an hour. When you are going back home, you are not in a traffic situation like what you come to work in Sydney, for example, or when you're returning. Your home setting might be a bit different, where children were a bit easier to manage. Um, a country like always, at a level where there's a lot of things that needs to be done very quickly within that 24 hours. So time becomes short. Be your children, be your partner or spouse, work, your work, traffic, as I said, at workplace itself. So all these environmental changes that one goes through is actually the real reason which is contributing towards getting stress. And stress is one of the major reasons why you end up developing these kind of diseases, which are non-infectious, which actually arises because things go wrong inside your body, where your hormones are not balanced, your other things like chemical mediators and other components of your body are not completely nicely aligned. And
Mm.
you will understand. So if you are very busy, you won't be cooking properly. So
Right.
your food that you are taking is slowly decreasing in the quality that my parents or our parents used to have, which was homemade food, fresh, organic mainly. So lots of fresh fruits, vegetables, and other things were part of our diet. So because you are so busy with other things get neglected, like your diet, and diet then becomes, after stress, becomes the other major contributing factor to these kind of diseases happening. So be it diabetes, be it high blood pressure, be it stroke, and eventually different types of cancers occur because of these same risk factors.
Mhm.
So if you are busy, you are less likely to exercise as well, because you don't have much time left for yourself. Because
Right.
exercise was the other thing that we were exposed to, or we walk much more to places. And uh, at the moment, because if you're busy, you reach home, it's winter, it's dark, you won't be going outside for your normal walk and things. So all these things add up into disturbing what's called your balanced state uh, that the body it requires to be in to be healthy.
Right. So, so food and exercise and those things once again are the core of what we should be looking uh, and taking care of. On that note, you mentioned the other types of disease and the health issues. Over the last 6 months or so, the whole world has been focusing on COVID-19, and we have really neglected all the other diseases like we have just mentioned: cancer, diabetes, strokes, and heart disease, and so on. So, what do you say to that, and how can we prevent that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whole lockdown thing you can look it in a positive manner as well. What it has given us is something very, very different to most of the people who are living in Western countries. It might not be so different for our people who grew up in an environment or setting which was not so fast paced. So you had time for yourself. Suddenly, people, because there's so much time for themselves, are finding it very uneasy. They think they need to be on the go. They should be doing things for every minute. But looking at the other way, it has given us this opportunity to actually sit back, relax a little bit. So while we are trying to manage the COVID virus itself, your body, because it's getting a bit more time to relax and it's getting time to realign itself, by default, it is helping you manage your conditions which are with you. And it has been actually shown all over the world that the disease, the death that was occurring because of other things like heart disease, stroke, and other things seems to have actually at least at some level, either plateaued or being is not happening as much, because otherwise you'd see those kind of patients lining up outside as well. So just changing the environment, which gives you a bit more time for yourself. Obviously, most people know they need to take your medication. You need to take all that the doctor has prescribed you. Make sure you keep doing it. But the difference is when you are at home, you are a bit more relaxed. You have a bit more time for exercise, and you are laughing around. You've got families around. You are generally, by default, actually improving your health status, which we didn't realize for months before and years before, because we were rushing and trying to do too many other things. It doesn't mean that those conditions will go away, because we are going to go back into the environment that we live in. This world survives on this, capitalistic mechanism that it functions on, and will once again be required to function at that level of actually stress. So these disease conditions will be there, but it does give us a little bit of opportunity to sit back, think. Maybe we should actually, in a week, make some time for ourselves. Hereafter, once COVID virus is even gone or not gone or is managed, but as individuals, we need to actually relook at how we are living our life. Okay, 5 days you are working really, really hard. Saturday you got some friends to catch up dinner and stuff. Sunday, make sure you have some time for yourself, your family. Go for a walk. Do something which is enriching for yourself, because that is something that has come about because of being locked down, that we realized that that part of our environment is important for this body as well, where you look after yourself. And I always say medical professionals, doctors, no matter how much government puts in and as a percentage of GDP into health budget, health professionals will not be able to manage the diseases. After all these years, good, about coming to 30 years of practice now, I can tell you, health is one thing where individuals have to take responsibility. We have very high level, tertiary level, quaternary level care practices to help with different types of health conditions. But end of the day, it's the person and yet individuals need to take responsibility of your behavior, because most of the disease, as I say, is a lifestyle disease. So we need to think that what we are doing is because of our doing as well. I know people are under huge mortgage, environment is very difficult to practice what I'm saying, but then we have to make this balance in our life, which is like we have to take responsibility. How far should we keep competing with this fast-paced world? Because if you keep doing it, your body will give it away somewhere, and when it gives away, it is actually becomes deficient in certain enzymes, hormones, other components of your body. You end up developing diseases like diabetes, like high blood pressure, like heart disease, if you don't eat properly. So people who have diseases, please keep taking your medications, keep talking to your doctors. The other good thing that has developed out of COVID virus is that telemedicine is now being practiced, so you can actually be in contact with doctors via different types of internet-based communication now. So make sure you keep doing that, but on the other side, take some responsibility of what you are eating. Try and de-stress yourself as well, and it's only not for yourself only. I say if you do these things, start correcting to yourself, your children are more likely to do it.
Mhm.
Because if you keep practicing something which is really, really out of line and which is now shown quite clearly, I have direct association with many different types of diseases that the country has, then the children who are growing up actually really don't know any other way. So if you keep drinking cartons and cartons of soft drinks, Coke and other stuff, and bringing home every weekend because it's on special or something,
Mhm.
you might be saving money, but you actually are destroying your children's
Yeah.
habit. because
That
they're
is true.
getting hooked onto something like that.
Yes.
So very educated, very sort of conscious way of trying to look at what we are doing will, by over time, slowly, will have benefit for our next generation as well.
Yeah. And doctor, there are enormous subjects, enormous areas that you have studied, and you are very knowledgeable, and you can share that with us. Things like your general health or Ayurvedic, you do yoga, and plus so many other things. And it's really unfair to ask you all these questions in half an hour. Would you mind if I invite you again for a chat on a
Oh
different
yeah, no,
subject in more details?
very Vijay, as I said, I would like to help the community. I have been very lucky and fortunate, coming from a very humble background, to have acquired this much of knowledge. I would like to share with people. And if your people, your audience would like to listen to something more
Yeah.
specific, and we can talk through like how do we de-stress, how do we look after our physical body, how we haven't even touched the mental part of our body. It's a huge component within our body which is directly related to many different diseases as well. So your emotional well-being, there are lots of aspects to this body. It's not only the physical body that we have. So when you have time, and I'm most happy to come
That,
and talk.
that, that would be really good because we like to come and speak in more details on each subject area, like you mentioned. Um, and also, I was going to ask you that if should I get questions from our audience, I'll share them with you and you can respond to them if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to help as much as I can, or actually guide people through different ways of how they could get help. Um, yeah, no, that's not a problem. Let people know they can contact me either through you or through your YouTube or Facebook comment section, and we can
Yeah.
actually keep talking.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, I know you are also on entertainment side. You're also a good singer and a dancer and all those things, which is really a plus point because that's de-stressing yourself, isn't it?
Oh yes, very much so. One of the things I do is, and people know, anywhere I go, I start dancing.
Yes.
Dancing is yeah, indirect way of exercising. So if I'm busy at work and I didn't get the time to actually do my walking, any opportunity I get, I start dancing, and some people get surprised. Oh, this doctor is a dancer or what? I mean, singing. As far as singing is concerned, I want to leave it to you. I really admire your singing, and people who know how to do this. I'm more of like a comedian, so try and sing to make people laugh. It's
Okay.
not one of the things that I actually really have in me, but I do try and make people laugh and make myself laugh as well with it.
And I also remember a few years ago you kind of acted in one of the feature films that we made here locally. Am I not right?
Yeah, I guess they were looking for a doctor
Yes.
for that movie, and I guess I was around, and I got asked, could you act? So I said, yeah, I'll have a go. Why not? I always believed in, that if you put your mind to anything, you could, possibly do anything. The mind has such 100 billion neurons. We are utilizing only 10% or less than 10%.
Right.
So why shouldn't we actually, venture into trying to do different things? Because the capability is in every single person to do this. And I try and actually challenge myself to do different things. And it's a bit of entertainment as well. And you get to know more people. You can actually be part of a bigger group of people, which is always nice.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And Doc, we're coming to the end now. So thank you so much. Is there a last minute message you want to give it to our audience,
Yeah,
listeners?
I guess so. First of all is keep practicing social distancing. Go out, but keep the distance of 1.5 millimeter of 1.5 meters. Secondly, keep alcohol or soap-based kind of detergents around your place, so that if you're going out, make sure you wash your hand. You're getting into the car, just to make sure you don't get infected. Keep practicing that. You will help yourself. You'll help the community, and will help Australia get back to actually normality quicker. And secondly, for as far as general health is concerned, please make sure look after your general well-being. Do some
Yes.
exercise. Slowly, be a bit more conscious about what you are eating, because what you eat is what your body becomes.
Right.
And keep doing simple small things. Your health will be much better. And I guess, as I said, we can talk more specifics later
Yes,
on.
and we'll plan schedule that within a week or so, a couple of weeks, whenever you are free. And Dr. Raghwa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming today. And sadly, we have come to the end of the show. I want to thank the audience for watching. I want to thank Dr. Raghwa Sharma for his valuable time and being with us and educating us on all these health issues. Um, Friends, I like to invite you, if you want to come and share your knowledge, your experience, your expertise in your area of field, please come and let's have a chat like we do with Dr. Sharma and lots of other professionals in their field. So if you want to come and talk to us and share your knowledge, drop me a line and we'll accommodate that too. Also, let me know if you have any questions from today's episode so that we can share with Dr. Sharma. Well. That comes to the end of the show. I am Vijay Jogia, your host, and logging you out. Until next time, I'll just play this. So, friends, once again, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Let me bring you back. Thank you, Doc. And hopefully
Thank you.
see you next time. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm logging out now. Have a good evening.